You're tired, your hormones are off, your gut is inflamed, your brain isn't sharp, and no matter what you fix, something else stays broken. It's not your diet, it's not your age, it's not even your stress levels. In this video, I'm going to show you the single biological system that controls all of it and what happens when it breaks. In May 2026, researchers at the Dresden University of Technology published a landmark discovery in one of the most respected journals in biology. They identified a molecule already present in every human body that functions as a master switch controlling sleep, metabolism, memory, and lifespan simultaneously. One molecule, 4 systems, and the way you treat it every night is either protecting all of them or destroying all of them at once.
The molecule is called somatostatin. And before this study, scientists knew it was important. They knew it regulated growth hormone, suppressed inflammation, modulated gut function, and influenced memory formation. What they didn't understand was how a single molecule could coordinate all of those functions simultaneously across completely different organ systems with completely different biological roles. The Dresden team found the answer, and it was sleep. Sleep is not just when somatostatin does its work. Sleep is the mechanism through which somatostatin connects all of those systems. It's the operating window, the only biological state in which this master molecule can perform its full coordination function. Without adequate sleep, somatostatin can't do its job. And when somatostatin can't do its job, every system it was supposed to coordinate begins to drift. Your hormones, your gut, your brain, your biological aging rate, all of them. The researchers described sleep not as a rest state, but as a foundational master regulator of human health, longevity, and biological balance. This is not a wellness claim. It's a peer-reviewed biological mechanism published in May 2026. My name is Dr. Nathan Cole. This is Hidden Health Protocol. Let's connect everything we've covered in this series because it all leads here.
Let me explain what somatostatin is, because the name sounds technical, but the concept is straightforward once you see it clearly. Think of your body as a large corporation. Different departments, hormones, immune system, gut, brain, all running their own operations. Each department has its own manager. But above all of them, there's a CEO, someone whose job is not to run any single department, but to coordinate all of them, making sure they're communicating, sharing resources, and working toward the same outcome. Somatostatin is the CEO. It regulates the release of growth hormone from the pituitary gland. It modulates insulin and glucagon in the pancreas. It controls inflammatory signaling in the gut. It suppresses or activates specific neural circuits in the hippocampus, responsible for memory formation and recall. It influences the pace at which cells age. And all of these functions, across all of these departments, are coordinated through a single operating window: sleep. Specifically, the somatostatin-regulated neural circuits that the Dresden researchers identified are most active during slow-wave sleep, the deep sleep phases we covered in V18. This is when somatostatin completes its full coordination cycle. This is when the CEO holds the board meeting. And if that meeting is cut short by fragmented sleep, by the 6 habits we covered in V19, by chronic sleep restriction, the departments stop coordinating and the company starts falling apart. Now I want to do something I've been building towards since the first video in this series. I want to show you how everything connects. Because if you've been watching Hidden Health Protocol from the beginning, you've covered 5 clusters of research: hormones, biological aging, gut health, cognitive function, and sleep. And they may have felt like separate topics. They're not. They're the same system, viewed from 5 different angles. And somatostatin is the molecule that proves it. The connection to Cluster 1, hormones. We covered testosterone decline after 35, the suppression of Leydig cell function by chronic inflammation, the cortisol-testosterone imbalance that becomes self-reinforcing after sleep restriction. Somatostatin directly regulates growth hormone release, which is the primary upstream signal for the hormonal repair cycle that runs during sleep. When somatostatin function is impaired by poor sleep, growth hormone release drops, testosterone production is compromised, and the hormonal decline that most men attribute to aging is accelerated by a sleep deficit that compounds nightly. The connection to cluster 2, biological aging. We covered NAD+ decline, mitochondrial dysfunction, and the hallmarks of aging. We covered how biological age can diverge from chronological age by 10 to 15 years depending on lifestyle. Somatostatin has been identified in longevity research as a regulator of cellular senescence, the process by which cells stop dividing and begin secreting the inflammatory compounds that accelerate aging throughout the body. In organisms where somatostatin signaling is maintained, lifespan is measurably extended. In organisms where it's disrupted, cellular aging accelerates. Sleep is what maintains it. The connection to cluster 3, gut health and inflammaging. We covered the gut microbiome, butyrate production, leaky gut, and inflammaging. We covered how the bacteria that protect your gut lining decline after 40, and how chronic inflammation begins when they do. Somatostatin is produced in significant quantities in the gut, specifically by enteroendocrine cells in the intestinal lining. Its function there is to regulate gut motility, modulate inflammatory signaling, and coordinate the repair cycles that run during sleep. When sleep is disrupted, gut somatostatin signaling is impaired, the repair cycle doesn't complete, the gut lining weakens, and the inflammaging cascade we tracked across 4 videos accelerates. The connection to cluster 4, cognitive function. We covered brain shrinkage, brain fog, the superagers, and the blood tests that reveal cognitive health. We covered BDNF, the glymphatic system, and the role of neuroinflammation in cognitive decline. The somatostatin-regulated neural circuits in the hippocampus are directly involved in memory formation and synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections. The Dresden researchers found that disrupting these circuits during sleep produced immediate, measurable memory impairment. Restoring them restored memory function. The superagers we covered in V15, the people with 80-year-old bodies and 50-year-old brains, are not exceptional because of genetics. They are exceptional because their somatostatin system is still running the full coordination cycle every night, because they sleep consistently, deeply, without interruption. Everything connects through sleep, through somatostatin, through the operating window that most people are shortening by 2 hours every night and calling it discipline. Here's what changes when you protect this system, and I want to be specific because the research gives us specific numbers, not vague promises. When sleep duration increases from 6 hours to 7.5 to 8 hours consistently over 4 weeks, testosterone levels rise by an average of 15%, not supplements, not protocols, sleep duration. The testosterone that dropped with sleep restriction returns because the somatostatin coordination cycle that drives hormonal repair is finally completing. When deep sleep architecture is restored, specifically slow-wave sleep in the first 2 hours, growth hormone pulse amplitude increases significantly. Muscle repair accelerates, fat metabolism improves, body composition changes measurably without any change in diet or exercise. When circadian consistency is maintained, same sleep window every night, including weekends, gut microbiome diversity increases within 3 weeks. The butyrate-producing bacteria that declined with circadian disruption begin to recover. Inflammatory markers drop. The gut lining strengthens. When the glymphatic system is allowed to complete its full overnight clearance cycle through 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep in a cool, dark room, amyloid beta accumulation in the brain slows measurably. Cognitive performance the following day improves across every metric: processing speed, working memory, word retrieval, sustained attention. and biological age, as measured by epigenetic clocks like Grimm age and Dunedin pace, which we now know are among the strongest predictors of mortality and health span, responds to sleep improvement faster than almost any other lifestyle intervention. A 2026 Longevity Trends report from Hone Health confirmed that sleep optimization is now considered by researchers the highest leverage single intervention for biological age reduction, not because it's the only thing that matters, but because it's the operating system that makes everything else work. You can optimize your hormones, you can heal your gut, you can train your brain, you can reduce inflammation, but if the nightly coordination cycle that integrates all of those systems isn't running, none of them reach their potential. Sleep is not the foundation of health. Sleep is the operating system that runs the foundation. So let me close with what the evidence across all 5 clusters of this series consistently points to. Not a protocol, not a supplement stack, a set of biological inputs, each one supported by multiple independent research streams that together create the conditions in which your body can do what it was designed to do. From Cluster 1, your hormones respond to sleep, movement, and the removal of endocrine disruptors, not to any single intervention. The system is the protocol. From Cluster 2, your biological age responds to mitochondrial health, which responds to consistent aerobic exercise, adequate sleep, and the removal of the dietary inputs that damage mitochondrial function. NAD+ doesn't decline because of time. It declines because of the inputs you give your biology. From Cluster 3, your gut responds to fiber diversity, fermented foods, sleep consistency, and the removal of ultra-processed food additives. The bacteria that protect your gut lining, produce butyrate, and suppress inflamed aging are still alive in your body. They're waiting for the conditions that allow them to thrive. From Cluster 4, your brain responds to aerobic exercise, effortful learning, deep social connection, DHA, and the nightly glymphatic clearance that only happens when you sleep long enough. Cognitive decline is not inevitable. It's the default outcome for people who don't actively create the conditions for neuroplasticity. From Cluster 5, sleep is what integrates all of it. The testosterone window, the growth hormone pulse, the immune calibration, the gut repair cycle, the glymphatic clearance, the somatostatin coordination cycle that connects every system in your body. It all runs during the 8 hours most people are either skipping or sabotaging. The research across 20 videos points to the same behaviors, not because the science is simple, but because the body's needs are diverse fiber, whole food, consistent movement, deep social engagement, protected, consistent, uninterrupted sleep. Not 5 separate protocols, one integrated system, running or not running, depending on the inputs you give it every day. 20 videos, 5 clusters, 1 conclusion. Your body is not a collection of separate problems. It is a single integrated system, and every piece of research we've covered across this series is describing different dimensions of the same thing. Your testosterone declined because your sleep shortened and your inflammation rose. Your gut bacteria died because the food that looked healthy was destroying them. Your brain started to fog because the gut-brain axis lost the neurotransmitter precursors it depended on. Your biological age accelerated because the nightly coordination cycle that regulates all of it stopped completing. And in May 2026, researchers at Dresden University of Technology identified the molecule that proves it. Somatostatin, the biological CEO that coordinates hormones, metabolism, gut function, memory, and lifespan, through the operating window that most people are shortening by 2 hours every night and calling it a busy schedule. If there is one thing to take from everything we've covered, it's this. Your body wants to work. It is designed to repair, to regulate, to optimize. The research doesn't show us a broken system that needs to be fixed from the outside. It shows us a functioning system that has been deprived of the inputs it needs to run. Give it the sleep. Give it the fiber. Give it the movement. Give it the time. The biology will do the rest. I've left a link in the description.